the hive cities of Necromunda. Untold billions crammed within mountains of metal. Vast insect mounds of tireless industry amid the toxic wastes of their own manufacture. Inside the hive cities, every breath of air, every drop of water is recycled 1,000,000 times over. Every watt of power and each mouthful of food must be guarded against rival clans and outlaws. It is a place where only the strong can endure, and no one prospers. Except, of course, those at the very top. And yet, opportunity still exists for the gang bold enough to take it. In the foundation layers of the Underhive, all manner of treasures can still be found. Lost, forgotten, or abandoned in the dark. The only question is, who will get there first?
Wait! Come on, Kira. Move your off. Watch out! Hell's teeth. Vex? Vex? Vex! Are you okay, Vex? Vex! I'm okay. I ain't made of glass. Shame.
Never liked her anyway.
Whoa, whoa! We're with you!
No hard feelings?
Hell no. If Maren wanted to lead, she had to be strong enough. And she was weak. So we'll follow you, sister. So what's this all about? Why are we meeting on the way out of here? It's got to be big. Why risk it otherwise?
Big enough that Tess is more worried about the house matriarchs hearing about it. Big enough to risk getting into a fight with the slab punchers.
Ooh, so the biggest. It's gotta be loot, right? Ahoy!
Ugh. Shut up, Kira.
Hey, lay off!
So, what's the deal, Tess?
Yeah. Why'd you drag us all the way out of house territory?
My gang, my rules. Spy took a big hit last night. Shock went right to the core. Feel them quakes on the way here? Something big got kicked loose. This isn't just lightning getting earthed. Whatever it is, it's making its own power now. And that means only one thing. Archaeotech. No one knows about this yet, and we're out here to keep it that way.
We'll be made for life! How are we getting there?
I know someone with the route down. They can— Watch out! Give him hell!
Poor Tessera was furious about the ambush. The Black Ash knew she was onto something juicy. Just not what or where. But Tessera was a good leader. See? She inspired loyalty, so her gang got her out despite the cost. That left her with only one choice. To find the man who knows a route into the Underhive, and continue a quest for riches. Because once blood is spilled, there's no turning back.
Damn it! Damn it! Damn it!
Tessera? No sign of the Black Ash on her tail. We lost him.
For now, at least. There's something else? Spit it out.
Some Goliaths heading this way. Rowdy boys, I think. But if we stay quiet, they'll miss us.
We need him gone. We're meeting our guide here. We'll set an ambush. Take him down clean and quick. Grab some cover and take aim. And Kira? We can't let any of them get away.
Trouble? Not my doing, I swear. We Guilders are sworn to strict neutrality.
Just some local rowdies. Nothing we couldn't handle. So, you have a route to get us below, Gilda DeVos.
I do. I can direct you to an area of the Underhive you've specified. Lawless place, it must be said. But you'll get there in exchange for a share in the Archaeotech.
Just as I promised.
As well as one other tiny thing. A down payment, if you will. The recent hard quakes have left me homeless, and there's a splendid location for a new hideout in an adjoining dome. Get me settled in there, and I'll have you on your way in no time.
Always looking for an angle, huh? All right, you blood-sucking gilder. You've got a deal.
Bloodball? There. Them's the ones that jumped us. They've grabbed a hideout for the gilder I told you about. All right.
Surround them. Make sure they can't get away. Then we'll put that hideout down around their ears. And if you see that gilder, don't put a scratch on him. Understand? I want to have a little chat with the fella.
That Escher harpy got me to a new hideout as promised. And then locked me up with no fracking air. Until I was liberated. This is how I met Bloodfall. Gang leader to those unfortunate Goliaths that Tessera had so callously ambushed. Bloodfall already grasped, and there was a vast fortune of archaeotech to be won. I helpfully suggested he might still catch up with Tessera by using a nearby train. Whether Bloodfall or Tessera won the prize, I'd get my cut.
So, this train goes down below. That's what the gilder said, right?
That's right. Ain't she beautiful? This goes where we need to go.
But isn't down below dog soldiers' turf? I heard they're all ruddy mercs or exiles or cannibals or something.
Yeah. And the grand dog's so tough and all, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a grox about him, or any of the other scum down there. We gotta get that prize.
Oi! Where do you think you're going?
On that freaking train!
You got to earn that right, boy. You gotta prove you and that little runt you're fronting. Won't just end up feeding the rats.
I accept your challenge, you wizened little ripperjack. Me and my rowdy boys will show you fossils of eating a herd.
Huh, listen to this one. That's the spirit, boy. I'll let your mama know you died well when I see her next. Follow me!
Bloodfall proved his worth. No one ever accused House Goliath of being subtle. They let their conflicts right out in the open, where everyone can see them. What I hadn't told Bloodfall or Tessera was that where they were going, there wasn't just the grand dog to worry about.
What have we got?
Small outpost ahead. Orloc's in it, but not the same bunch that jumped us. Some Goliaths are getting ready to make a move on it. They look like dog soldiers.
Perfect. We need a hideout close to the archaeotech so we can prepare. We'll take this one while they're distracted.
All right, men. Let's show them there's a new gang of new parts.
So Tessera got her hideout. I went to lay low for a while. And like always, she solved the problem in front of her by creating two more around the corner. Along with the dog soldiers, Tessera had upset another local gang called the Chokers. What had been a three-cornered fight just got a lot more complicated. That was Tessera, always making new friends. Greetings. Have you come for my supremacy contest? Spectators or participants?
We're not here to play your games, DeVos. Tell us where Tessera went, and we'll just go ahead and bounce out of here.
Alas, that I cannot do. These other fine gangers have all paid to enter the contest in order to gain exclusive access to that information.
Don't test my patience with that rot. Tessera's onto something, and I want in. Word is that you know something.
Oh, no. I could never tell you where to find Tessera if you mean to rob her. Whoever wins my supremacy contest will be going to help Tessera.
Uh-huh. Well, we'll help her all right. Won't we, boys?
Well then, in that case, welcome to the contest. Of all the gangers I've seen, Flint was the best prospect for success. He and the Black Ash originated from the Cold Forges. The very same domes that Bloodvor and Tessera should be searching by now. I needed Flint to do one more little job before I set him loose. A fair 50-50 split for him, although the Orlok was reluctant at first. I was relieved when he grudgingly accepted. Why send another gang below, you ask? Built-in redundancy, I reply. One of the three would succeed, and I would reap the rewards. Task I set for Flint and his Black Ash gang was a simple one. Liberate a few fuel rods from the Goliaths, I said. Bring them back to me, and we'd split the profits. Simple. But once Flint saw how few guards were around, he decided to steal the Goliath's credit stash as well. It's like the man's hubris knew no bounds. But the worst of his insufferable arrogance was yet to come.
Steady, lads, steady. I know what Gilded Divorce is selling. Let me go, and I'll tell you what he knows.
Interesting. Go on.
How do I know? You'll let me go.
How do you know I won't torture you into telling me anyway?
Well, my brother's in the Rowdy Boys scene.
And that was how Flint got to know all about the Rowdy Boys. Where Tessera had gone, and how to get there. So Flint kept the fuel rods for himself, and headed down below thinking he could cut me out of the deal. Me. was a fool. Around the time that Flint was striking out on his own, Bloodfall and his rowdy boys had got as far as the train could take them into the Underhive. Bloodfall found himself in an area known as the Old Forest, an attempt to use gene-formed trees to filter the air and provide nutrition. It was the perfect spot for a hideout. With Tessa and Flint going rogue, my best hope for success now lay with these, sturdy and stalwart Goliaths acting as my agents to seize the Archaeotech. Subtlety was surely not their strong point, but we were well past the time for that now. And so Bloodfall settled in with his rowdy boys, building up the defenses of the new hideout and scouting the area. The Chokers must have been starting to feel victimized. 2 gangs arriving from the upper zones and taking chunks of their territory. They would have to respond soon, before the Grand Dog sensed weakness and made some moves of his own. That's a dog-eat-dog world in the Underhive.
What's all this? Hellions and Chokers not at daggers drawn? But you were here, weren't you, Tessera? Let's see what clues the scavengers have left for us. What are you waiting for? Take them down!
Flint knew he needed to find Tessera soon. Not to rob her as he'd originally intended, but rather to join forces in alliance. He wasn't happy he'd missed her. But he was even less happy to see that the Hellions and the Chokers were working together. That meant there'd be tough fighting ahead. Of course, even if he found her, that left Flint with the awkward problem of not getting his head blown off before he even got a chance to open his mouth. Tessera had made a splash with the locals. Oh yes. So much so that the Chokers made a deal with Hellion Annie to dance on Tessera's steaming entrails. They sent a combined force before the Eschers could settle in. Hellion Annie even sent her own daughter, Patrexia, to lead the raid. That part didn't work out so good, though. Annie's little girl got herself caught and dragged away as a hostage when Tessera split the scene. With a little persuasion, Patrexia filled Tessera in on all the local gossip. She got to hear just how many gangers the Grand Dog could muster. A small army by all accounts. And that he'd put most of them to guard the Archaeotech. Maybe Tessera finally realized that she was going to need more help. She eventually decided on a detour to the Arboretum to gather materials. To brew more toxins for bombs and traps. But the Chokers weren't giving up the chase so easily.
Any time now, Kira. No rush.
Got it.
Hell, this.
Move out.
Colonel Flint, is that you?
That's right.
Why the hell are you barging in our fight? We had him right where we wanted him.
Yeah, I could see that.
So now we fight. Is that it?
No. Now we talk.
So talk. Why'd you help us?
Because down here in the Underhive, I'm the closest thing you've got to a friend. Even if you don't get that yet.
Funny. I remember you killing my girls not so long ago.
Gotta team up now if we want to take on the Grand Dog. It's too hot for us to survive down here. Let alone win. On our own.
You're not as dumb as you look, Flint.
We can start by getting some better intel. Layouts, access codes.
Ooh, I like codes, babies. Sign me up!
That Nightbane we got won't stay potent for long. We need to get it sealed into bombs straight away.
That's okay. If we move on a ways, then some of my boys can scout around while you're all brewing your poisons.
A Goliath cleaver.
There's something else you ought to know.
What's that?
Devos sent another gang down here, the Rowdy Boys.
I know those blockheads.
Well, swallow your hate when we find them, because we're gonna need them too. Sounds like the Rowdies, all right. And they found plenty of trouble. Let's go help them out, and make some more new friends.
Flint's intel uncovered an old rail tunnel that the Grand Dog was using to move his soldiers around the Underhive. The rail line would have to be sabotaged, or else any attempt to seize the Archaeotech was doomed to failure. Naturally, Tessera demanded that Bloodfar and his Rowdy Boys undertook the task to prove their worth. And that they took one Orlok and one Escher along to watch for treachery. Bloodfar and his boys had certainly proved themselves. Even the temptation of the fortuitous arms stash didn't induce them to go their own way. With the tunnel blocked and extra intel on the Grand Dog's patrols, the stage was set to seize the Archaeotech Horde. Although, seizing the Archaeotech would prove to be a lot easier than holding on to it.
So, we're all agreed?
Cover fire. Slow and steady advance, then...
Then grab the Archaeotech and go home. See? I listened.
If the clans ever hear about this little team-up, we'll all be outlawed.
We'll be so stinking rich by then, we won't care.
I'm feeling it. Let's do this.
With the dog soldiers routed by the unlikely alliance, the Archaeotech at last lay within their grasp. But all three gang leaders knew they'd need to crack the vault before the Grand Dog returned for the Horde with his most psychotic followers. And as we say on Necromunda, if you're not strong enough to keep something, it was never yours to begin with.
You dare steal from me!
I thought you blew the rail tunnel.
I did. There'd be even more of them if I didn't.
Say it! These houseplant scum! I am ruler here!
Kira, they'll kill us in the open with these numbers. Start getting everyone inside the vault, but softly now. If they catch on, we're done.
I will deprive you of your life for what you have done. Your suffering will be endless!
Oh no. He's going to bore us to death.
Hell with that.
Tezra! Doors won't hold long. We have busted the locks getting in.
Doesn't matter. It's our house now. Let them come.
You both made it then.
Looks like it.
Fine. Now, we just split the Archaeotech and go home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My plan from the outset, of course. I knew that they would band together to win the prize. I also knew that they would immediately split apart, squabbling over it. On Necromunda, you don't own something if someone else can take it away from you.
in faith. Shielded by devotion. Armed with purity of purpose. The Emperor's will made manifest. We are the warriors of the Grey Knights. Demon Hunters. Chaos cannot stand against us. For we are the Hammer. For centuries I have felt their coming. Shrouded in vanity, they believed themselves obscured. Free to wage their covert war upon the pure and the righteous. Even now, they gird their souls with contempt, stalking their prey with a morbid pride. But they do not see the reckoning I have prepared for them. For their crimes, they will pay with most holy sacrifice. For the Grandfather's truths cannot be denied.
It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 centuries, the Emperor has sat immobile on the golden throne of Earth. Mankind wages a never-ending battle for survival against the demonic power of the Chaos Gods. But by one force is humanity shielded from true darkness. The Grey Knights. This secret chapter of Space Marines are the Imperium's surest defense against that which the Emperor foresaw would be its greatest threat. Humanity's blade against the demon. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Unidentified Astartes vessel. This is Captain Pirani Everick of the warship Holiness of Ra. Geheris is lost. Repeat, Geheris is lost. All Imperial vessels are to withdraw at once. Astartes vessel, do you read me? Geheris is doomed. Please acknowledge this warning and...
You have done all you can, Captain. Go, in the Emperor's light.
You cannot sail into this storm.
We do what we must. Farewell, Captain. Tech Priest, report.
Hexagramic wards are under maximal pressure.
Commander, we cannot maintain this orbit for long.
Dispatch the assault team at once. I will join them and put an end to this myself.
Your will be done. The assault team is engaged, Commander. They clear a path for your arrival.
Here I stand. One unbreakable shield against the darkness. Tonight the Cadium falls, Hector. Our quest is finally near its end.
Millions of souls feed the flame. The threshold is passed. The warp emerges.
Your cult is broken. Your ritual is ended. Relish this breath, for it is your last.
Pathetic mortal! Weakling spawn of a false god! I am the light that banishes darkness. Your prayers mean nothing!
I am the hammer!
You have beaten me for now, little knight! But the war I fight is eternal!
Analysis. Warp signatures fading.
Then the blood ritual has ended. Where is that report? Report! Where is the commander?
He died a champion's death. Blade on blade against the foulest blasphemy.
This planet, Sukrista, matches our Auspex telemetries. The veil between the Sea of Souls and real space is slim.
The cathedral here was once a monument to the Emperor's majesty. Now it's a ruin to blasphemy and sacrilege.
I can feel the emanations of misery within. Commander, this world is overrun with the bloom, while the warp storm narrows the precipice between our real space and the warp. This is as close to an ideal candidate we are liable to find for this ritual. With your leave, I will prepare the prime seeds for the mission ahead.
All is ready, Inquisitor. The wards on the Prime Seeds are reaffirmed and are in your hands.
Good. I will blaze them into the warp with the Emperor's purity.
A pale ember against the flame of 1,000,000,000 tormented souls.
Cease your prattle!
Inquisitor!
It is nothing, Dominus. Initiate teleportation.
Hold strong, Vakir. My brothers will protect you to the last.
Thank you, Hector.
Hector, the Inquisitor's pulse has risen considerably.
Her resistance has proven almost inhuman. But it is clear she has finally reached her limits. I am ready to do my part.
Upon her return, then?
If she returns.
He comes to you, Master. The fool needs to take you by surprise. Show me. You have done well, Cadex. I will have vengeance at last. The Carver will not leave this garden alive.
No!
It appears we are being watched, my lord. Hello, little spy. That's it, Carver. Call your minions. You can all wait together.
The demon alerted its master to our plans. How is that possible?
I'm not certain. I believe it might have been during the ritual on Sir Krista. Cadex has retained some agency since I entered his mind.
Agency? What agency?
Taunts, murmurs, voices I have ignored.
Oh, it has been a little more than that.
Have we just damned the Supreme Grand Master to an ambush and death?
Precisely.
No, Ektar. I only did what I believe necessary to advance our cause.
Our cause now? Inquisitor Vakir, with one blow, you have turned all of our efforts to serve the aims of chaos. With your leave, Commander.
You are right. I have failed us.
Ektar, analyze. The Inquisitor is the only being with an erudite understanding of what we face. Without her, we are truly lost.
Without the Supreme Grand Master, we have already lost.
Denial. This act is reckless. The Inquisitor's biodiagnostics have not yet totally collapsed.
So you would have us follow this traitor until she does?
This is too much. Like children.
Rationalize. We have all been deceived. Counter-proposal. We intervene on the Supreme Grand Master's behalf.
Are your logic pathways fried, Dominus? No mortal can navigate their way through the Garden of Nurgle.
No mortal?
Silence! Your words have done harm enough.
Ektar! In 987 years, I have not observed a Grey Knight falter in his duty. Yet you fear this?
Say your piece, Vakir.
It is true. No mortal can find their way to the Garden of Nurgle, but a demon will always return to its master.
What?
Yes. Cadex has burrowed into my mind. If you were to banish him, I might use that connection to track his spirit as it returns past the veil, back to its master.
More conjecture.
Support. Archival analysis indicates stellar coordinates can be transmitted via astral telepathy.
Both of you now? Dominus, even if we gamble on the purity of her intentions, this notion barely amounts to a roll of the dice and a prayer.
That is all I have left, Ektar. But what does the effort cost you? Another demon banished to the warp?
What of your baleful edict? Are you so eager to see it fall into the Plague God's hands?
The edict will fulfill its purpose. I am a priest of Mars. Sentimentality is for the flesh.
Vakir, your soul stands at the precipice. You have proven yourself stronger than any human I've known. But if you falter in this, even for a moment, I will have no choice but to cut you down.
I would ask nothing less of you.
Commander, you have led us capably since Agravain's fall, but in this our direction is clear. If we yet have hope to intervene for the sake of the Supreme Grand Master and put an end to this bloom, we have no choice but to pursue it.
The Inquisitor's strength yet holds. Brother Purifier, I require insight into the mission's next phase.
Vakir has begun a ritual of banishment. When it is at its apex, I will purge the demon, and the Inquisitor will attempt to maintain her psychic connection with its departing spirit. In theory, she may sense its trajectory past the veil. If we dare pursue that signal into the warp, we may find the garden and locate Drago before it's too late.
The odds of survival
The odds are irrelevant, Dominus. Only in death does duty end.
The edict writhes beneath this pressure. We cannot hold.
We must. The ritual is nearly complete.
Embrace the grandfather's wisdom, Carver. You see it? We are one.
And so forever we shall remain. Cadex Ilkarian of Sistemonius, I give myself to you willingly. Take my spirit.
Vakir!
You were right to doubt me, Ektar. A demon's essence cannot be tracked past the veil, but mine is now bound to his. I will blaze a path for you to follow.
You sacrifice yourself, you are doomed to an eternity of torment.
I doomed myself the moment I set foot on this ship. Now, the Grandfather calls. I must answer. I am his.
What strength.
Follow me, Ektar. To the garden.
Commander, the Brother Purifier has begun transmitting a signal to our astropaths. We must follow it at once. Commander, we have pursued this signal for weeks. The edict strains, but the Brother Purifier appears far worse. The edict's warp drives have completely stalled.
It is no matter. Our journey is at an end.
Data insufficient. Have we reached the garden?
No, but we are met by its gatekeeper.
What do you see?
We are drawn into the orbit of a transient domain. It radiates with the energy of a prime seed.
Credibility dubious.
There is little sense within the realms of chaos.
2 Reapers of the Bloom remained free of our pursuit. Why risk one against us now?
Cadex must have reached his master and given warning. They delay us to pursue more valuable prey.
Drago.
Commander, it is time to prove ourselves worthy of our name. Hear me. Hear me. Grand Master, hear me!
Brother, I hear you.
Supreme Grand Master, we are near. I sense your spirit within the garden.
The hour must indeed be dark if you have conspired to reach me here.
Forgive us, my lord, the cost was great. You are walking into a trap. A massive host of Nurgle approaches your position.
This maze confuses my senses. The Bloom's power here is overwhelming, yet I cannot afford to withdraw. The stench of these roots are plain. My cursed life is a small price to wager against ending this foul affliction.
Then we will fight for you, Grand Master.
A great sacrifice must not go unheeded. Very well. I will take 8 volunteers, Ektar. 4 shall join me to face the foulness within. 4 will hold this gate against the approaching horde until we can complete the deed.
So few.
Each of my brothers is an army unto himself, a mighty shield against the coming darkness. I cannot deprive the Imperium of its most valuable warriors for the trials that yet lay ahead.
Your will be done. We are the Hammer.
Cadex, my little spider. What flies have you lured onto our web? I serve only to please, Master.
But you said I could have her! Know your place, worm. You failed to silence her spirit, and so she has served a fleeting morsel. But I am yet far from satisfied. If it isn't the Heart Carver and his gleaming knights.
Mortarion. I should have guessed you would be at the root of all this.
Who else could nurture such genius? I carved the raw material for the very first seeds from the corpses of your fallen brethren, hunted and run down like the cowards they are. That Eldari cesspit was a nursery a millennia in the making. These roots I tended from saplings until they could gorge on the billions of souls my reapers have claimed. And now, here at last, Drago, your sacred blood will fertilize the true harvest. The grandfather rejoice! My little garden will finally bear its most luscious fruit. The Morbus is at hand. Drago! You cannot win! Cadex, you treacherous worm! What have you wrought? I did only as requested, Master! Plague comes for the Imperium. I have eternity to ensure it festers.
The perpetual coward. I expect nothing less from those who betrayed humanity. Some, however, take courage to the limits of folly.
You will forgive the Commander. He simply obliged an old man's wish to see duty's end.
I would not begrudge a knight his sense of duty, but you must leave if you can, now. Mortarion's failure here has sparked the fury of the Plague God. We will draw their attention if we may. Inform the Grand Masters of what happened here.
Commander, sensors detect conspicuous forms converging on our position.
We must depart. I envy you, my brothers.
Know that they fight on with courage and honor. Even as the bloom decays beyond, we will infect the realms of chaos with our purity.
We return to Titan. Brothers, you will be welcomed into the Hall of Champions. And she lost her soul to chaos. We had feared her fallen, but in truth, I misjudged her strength of will. In the end, she fulfilled an inhuman duty. Cartha Vakir sacrificed herself to preserve life and carve a path for hope in the future. She did so, realizing that the price would be an eternity of torment. She is a credit to the Inquisition, and has truly humbled this Grey Knight. Go, relay this to your masters.
The bloom fades.
Another triumph, purchased at a bitter price.
We have delayed our return to Titan for too long, Ektar. The Edict yearns for respite. Our duty forward is clear.
Yes, duty. What say you, Commander? Are we finished here? As effusive as ever, eh? Dominus, set course for Titan.
This maggot remains, Lord Draco.
Grandfather Neville, protect your son!
A pitiful end awaits those who serve chaos. Warden of the Bloom, indeed.
You may have cost me my status, but patience is the grandfather's greatest virtue. There's always another plague waiting just around the corner.
For once, you speak the truth. Perhaps it is time to deploy more proactive tactics.
Let them go, let them go. We must be patient. I have a great many plans for you.